Hi, how you all doing? I'm Suzanne from TVMEG.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hey, it's great to meet both of you. I enjoyed the movie a lot.
Oh, so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, Adam, I read that you were class president in real life as well. Did you consider ever continue on to a career in politics?
I did I was just saying when I went to college, I ran for freshman class president of Duke, which is where I was in college. And I went and I knocked on every door and I put my sign up and I shook hands with every single person. And I lost to this guy whose slogan was vote for Daniel. It rhymes with Cocker Spaniel. And I thought I was disillusioned. I was disillusioned. I said, you know what? I want to be an actor. I always wanted to be an actor. So I switched to theater. I was kind of doing politics as like a way to be an actor, but in a more acceptable to my dad kind of way. And then I was like, forget it. I'm just going to do what I want to do. But the interesting thing is that Daniel that beat me is now the mayor of San Francisco.
Oh,
So anyway, there you go.
so
Yeah,
you drew from real life a
that's
And,
right.
little bit for
and
the
he's
movie.
still using that slogan.
That's right. That's right. That's how he got elected this year.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess it's better than the one from the movie Beat the Meat.
that's right. You can't beat the meat. That's it. That's it.
So, Tony, it's great to talk to you. You were on Taxi when I was in high school, and I loved Who's the Boss, so it's an honor. What made you interested in playing Adam's dad in this film?
It's one of the things that really interested me about the movie was the father-son relationship, and I'm also, I have this thing about young people and how the country's changed, and when they come out of college, they expect to go on, and a lot of them end up not living up to their own expectations, and I think that's why the movie is also very relatable.
Right, definitely. And so, Adam, how did you come up for, besides the election part that we just discussed, how did you come up for the idea for the movie?
I'm going to answer that. I want to say one thing that off of what Tony just said, which I think is really interesting. I read this article recently. They're programming all these AI bots these days,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and they're trying to figure out what they're trying to align it with human values. And they're trying to figure out what makes people happy. What causes the dopamine release in the human brain? Is it having money? Is it having fame? Is it having success? Is it having kids? Whatever. And what they found, which I thought was amazing, is it's all based on your reality compared to your expectation.
Hmm.
If you expected something and you didn't get it, you won't be happy. If you expected very little and you exceeded it, your dopamine's released in your brain.
Mm.
Huh.
And that's what happiness in humans comes. So they're using that to program AI. But I say all that because in this movie, Jimmy's expectations, like a lot of people's expectations, were somewhere, and he didn't get there yet.
That's
And that's what causes all his pain. But anyway, sorry, you had a different question. I just thought, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I just how did you come up with the idea for the
Oh,
movie?
the idea. So I grew up in Texas and went to Richardson, and Texas is now a very specific place for politics. And
Mhm.
now I live in LA and have lived there for 20 years, and that's a different specific place for politics. And I have great friends in both places. And
Right.
so I wanted to tell a story about politics, about public service that both people could watch. And we just had a screening. That my 30th reunion was just this past weekend, and we did a
Oh,
screening for people in Texas. There was people there in literally Confederate T-shirts, MAGA hats, and they watched the movie. And then we're doing stuff in New York and LA, and they're watching the movie. And that's what I want. I want everybody to be able to watch the movie because it's about empathy, which I
right.
do think is universal.
Right. I like the way that
Universal
you sort of
need.
Yeah,
mirrored a lot of what's going on in politics, but without being, over the top or
that's right.
hitting us over the head with it, kind of.
Right, and not hitting the hot button issues that we get so mad about. Like
Yeah.
let's not talk about those specific things. Let's talk about the bigger issue, which is behind those things. Yeah.
Right, right. It's interesting that I thought it was interesting that the movie takes place in Texas and only the one guy has an accent, and you said he that wasn't his original
That's
accent.
right. Yeah, well, so Rizwan and I talked about that. Rizwan Manji, who plays Governor Singh, great actor, and my very close friend of mine. We talked about how some people, politicians, become skilled at, sliding into if they're hanging out with, say, Southern people, they talk a little
Right.
Southern. If they're, hanging out with New Yorkers, they do a little more New York. They kind of they flow. And Jimmy finds that deeply just gross. It just feels inauthentic to him. Whereas like for Manish, she's like, I'm a politician. That's what, you see like even like politicians like Obama. Obama's great at that. He
Yeah.
changes how he talks based on where he is.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it's a question of what's authentic and what's not. That's part of it at the
Hmm.
core of that.
So people I mean, I've been to Dallas a lot. I thought they had accents. They don't?
Some do. I mean, in
Uh,
Dallas, like in my high school, I mean, most people talk like, like me. I mean, like I say, it's a little bit more
a
like
little
you
bit.
hear, yeah, but
Okay.
uh,
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause I've lived in Texas and I lived in Arkansas, and we used to Southern Arkansas. So we used to drive down to Dallas every Christmas, but bigger city, So I
yeah,
did notice the accent, but
yeah.
it's all over. So this is the second movie that you've starred in, directed, and produced. Are you still learning to juggle all those three roles at once, or are you pretty comfy with it now?
Well, I'm always learning. I mean, obviously, I think it's a lifelong thing to learn. But I was telling Tony, I feel very at peace when I'm doing all the things at
You
once.
said something that I noticed. He said that when he's directing in a scene that he's acting in, he finds it easier to listen.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that, I'm just trying to figure that out. You know,
Because that's right. Because I'll shoot my coverage first, right? So in that, then once that's done, it's out of the way. So now my entire focus is on watching, listening, taking in the other actor, not just because I'm their scene partner, but because I got to give them notes. So I'm like completely inside their performance, and I think it makes
Wow.
me a better actor too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, they only gave me 5 minutes, but Tony, I read about your cookbook, and I think I might have to order that. It looks really yummy. The one you did with your son. Uh-oh, did I freeze up? Oh, darn it. Uh, Hello. Oh, man. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, she's
Now
back.
I hear you.
Suzanne, you
Oh.
froze for a minute.
Yeah, I realize that because you guys froze for me. Anyway, I was just saying that I read about Tony's cookbook with his son, and it looks like good recipes. I might have to buy that one.
Oh yeah, and you know what it is? It's a memoir cookbook. It's this. The recipes are tied to stories of my mother's side of the family, the Camises. They came here in turn of the century and ended up in East New York and Brooklyn, and somehow they survived.
Yeah, I was reading the beginning on Amazon, so it hooked me.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Thank
All
you.
right.
Don't fill
Well,
up. You know where the title comes from? Don't fill up on the antipasta. So, when the Italians came here, they really, one thing they wanted to do, they wanted to assimilate. They wanted to be Americans. It really was, that was the goal. You weren't allowed to speak Italian in the house. You had to do everything. But one of the things they didn't want to give up was their culture. And of course, culture is food for Italians. And so it manifests itself on Thanksgiving when you have an antipasta, you have lasagna, and then you have a complete turkey dinner, a whole turkey dinner, so that they would tell you when you got there, hey, don't fill up on the antipasta.
that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye
Talk
bye.
to you later. Bye bye.
See ya.